Check.
Hello.
Oh,
Now we are.
okay. Well, let me just check. Okay, I do see it.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. All right. Hello.
Hi.
See, I want to test our audio. You think the audio is fine?
I genuinely think the audio is fine.
Okay, fine. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our is it January?
It is January, yes.
Okay. Welcome to our January live show for The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie. This is the first book that we read in January, and we are just going to talk about it today. So mine is on my Kindle app. So sorry, you have to hold this.
Yes, of course. And
Yes.
for all these anybody coming in to see, we are trying out a new setup with a new microphone and a new background. So
yeah, I feel like this is cozier though.
It is. It's
It
very
is
nice.
cozier
Yeah.
because I feel like the lights were too. We have a new camera and then the microphone, which I hope is working. It's just a podcast mic though. So okay, so let's get into the questions first. Okay, I guess first impressions. What did you think of the book?
So
Oh wait, sorry.
Okay, all
Okay,
right, just get cut off there.
happy end of Lunar New Year. It
Mhm.
is February 5th, which means it's the last day of Lunar New Year.
We
So
can say 新年快乐.
yeah, well, it's a Korean book, so
Well,
yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
What did you think of the book? Sorry.
So I thought the book was very well written and very, very thoughtfully done for its Korean background as well. And the writing was really beautiful. It painted the story really, really nicely, and I was able to kind of just float along the story. And it was like a gentle but also at sometimes turmoil ride, and I think Axio did a really, really good job with this book. Because of also how I grew up, I was exposed to a lot of Korean, Japanese, and Chinese folktale stories, and it was nice to see there were, I think, if I remember, pretty clear two of them that I recognized from the writing in this book. So I really, really enjoyed this book. What about you?
Yeah, I honestly didn't expect to enjoy it. I feel like folklore and mythology books are hit and miss for me because the writing can be a little bit too like lyrical, like storytelling, whereas I want like a lot of character motivation and like not just pure plot, but like a lot of character depth and stuff. But no, I really enjoyed this one too. I don't know if this makes sense, but the writing felt like young.
Do you mean like for a younger audience or young as a writer?
Like it felt like the narrator was very young.
Mhm.
I don't think it was for a younger audience. Like it just felt very like it's kind of like it's kind of like a folklore where it's like for all audiences, like adults or like children. But I felt like the narrator, like the voice of our main character. What's her name again?
So I'm always terrible with names. So
What's
you
her
can't blame me with
name?
this one.
Shoot. Are you kidding me? We both forgot her name.
I remember events. I don't remember names.
Okay. Well, anyway, the main character, I felt like she like came off very young, and I think that was the point, obviously. But I liked how the writing kind of embodied that, like in the mind of someone who's like not very, because she hasn't experienced much, like not her first like love or whatever.
Well,
so.
she is 16. We got an age drop, like maybe like into the third chapter of the book.
Oh yeah, she is 16.
And also, so her name is Mina, her brother is Shim Cheong, and her brother's June, and the girl that Shim Cheong, that June loves is Shim Cheong. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Bad with names as usual. And yeah, did you feel like folklore wise, do you think the writing is too lyrical because of like the styles of folklore that you read?
Yeah, or just like the style of folklore in general. It's very storytelling, and I feel like folklore is very like you like swished your hair in the mic. They're gonna hear the folklore is very plot based. I like, okay, so they're in like books, there's like two different kinds of character driven and then plot driven. I feel like you're a more plot driven person. I'm a more character driven person. Like I don't care the plot, there could be non-existent plot, like nothing going on,
as long as the characters you like,
as long as the characters are great and well developed and fleshed out. I love that. So I would say there wasn't that much character. There was some character, but it's all supposed to be based on like the like stereotypes of who these people are who are representing in folklore. So it was interesting, but it wasn't too much. It was good. I liked it. I liked the writing.
That's
it was
good. That's good.
Yeah. Okay, let's jump to the questions. I wish I had a finished copy here, but look, I like how Kindle like takes all my notes. So look,
Oh, you're able to write notes on.
yeah. So I
Oh,
kind of like that
okay,
because then
that's
you like
good.
with the book, like you can't really go back and look.
Also, I would like to point out that the cover for this book is one of the most beautiful that I've seen in a really
It's
long
so
time.
pretty.
It's very, very pretty,
The
and
cover's so pretty.
the traditional Korean dress that she is wearing is very, very accurate.
I know.
really
I
like
think
that.
some other copies have like different types of foil on it. So I honestly might get a finished copy. This is one of
Yes.
those books. Okay. The first question is, which character do you relate to or empathize with, and why?
So actually, maybe you should go first.
Why?
Because I went first last question.
I feel I have to decide. I feel like I sort of empathize with Shin, who is the should we I guess this is spoiler. Nah, we'll keep it spoiler. Oh no, this is spoilers.
This is all spoilers, yes.
Yeah, this is all spoilers. But I feel like I am like Shin because I feel like Shin is a very selfless person. He literally cares so much about like that's how he got here in the first place. It's just because he cared so much and he couldn't bear to see other people hurting. So he put himself in harm's way but he loves so fiercely and he just wants everyone to be okay, but at the same time I just feel like he would be an anxious person if he was but do you feel like that too? Like he's literally so selfless, like everything that he does, and that can get in the way sometimes because I think first when he meets Mina, he's kind of like aggressive, like not aggressive towards her, but a little like cold to her, but because he just cares so much about her and he just wants to see her do well and he thinks that he's like he like causes pain to everyone.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's racked with guilt constantly because he's kind of like the other side, spoilers, the other side of the sea god, right? Yeah. I would say I empathize with him a lot. But is the question empathize or is it who
well, it's which character do you relate to empathize with?
Yeah, I think I relate to two characters actually, Namgi and Kieran, those two.
Oh, they're very different. So
yes, the reason why is because as like a relatively pretty carefree person, I relate to Namgi in that way where it's very much like, oh, there's optimism, right? He's a very optimistic character who kind of just thinks about getting what he wants and then enjoying the journey while he's doing it, and then repressing bad emotions and repressing the fact that he has a brother that hates him and the family members that hate him. And then Kieran on the other side just is also actually emotionally repressed, where he doesn't want to show any emotion ever, but deep down he's also a very kind-hearted and caring person. Very, very deep down that you have to get to know him. So
yeah, I think they're both very similar, which is weird because they don't like end up liking. They don't initially like get along, or maybe they do, but again, they're like both repressed feelings. They're just kind of like, I don't want to admit that I actually care about the other person. But their dynamic is really cute. I honestly wish we got more of it because we didn't get a lot.
Yeah, so it's that repressed emotion kind of thing that I relate to.
That you relate to, yeah. You don't relate to. Do you empathize with? I guess with Shin.
Yes, I do, but I want to not, say exactly what you were saying. So.
Yeah, I do. Okay, what did you think of the whole, speaking of characters, like what did you think of the whole like Mina jumping in for Shim Chong and like her going in after anyway?
So I think Mina, she's an extremely spiteful person and very angry person. So she reminded me a little bit of you. Because
why she's spiteful?
Because she was very angry with the sea god and seeing how the sea god was forcing her brother's lover to do this, to sacrifice herself, and then seeing that her brother wasn't going to let it happen, was going to die, and she's like, I hate this. I'm going to do something about it, and go down there and basically yell at the sea god.
Yeah,
kind of,
No, but what did you think about that happening and then Shim Chong like ending up there anyway? That pissed me off.
That was some just really terrible like karma/fate.
I know. I was like, oh man, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? She went through all of this and she saw wasn't that a plot twist for you?
Yeah.
See, that's why you saw me like making reactions when I was reading, and I was like, literally, why is she here? Why is she here? Get out.
That's right. Well, it's that, and also like angry with the villagers who still decide to sacrifice her.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like when she goes back there, everything's fine and dandy.
Yeah.
I feel like she everyone is like cheering her on. Okay, that kind of pissed me off in the end though. Like I know that Mina is a very like selfless person as well. That's why she and Shin really just like are a perfect match for each other. But like I personally was like she deserves some like credit.
Recognition. Yes, she got no credit for everything that happened, all the fight, all the pain that she went through, and she got none of it.
Literally none. And I know that wasn't her thing. Like she obviously all she cared about in the end was to live happily, like see her family, but then like literally just be with the love of her life. I get that. We get it. But like at the same time, then Shim Chong just like gets, all of this recognition.
I know. It's really painful because we also know that the reason that Shim Chong got all that recognition is because she's kind of like the model of the female heroine in a way. Like she's tall, beautiful, and other villagers didn't really credit Mina at all.
Yeah.
In terms of
but I thought that at least that would happen in the end to sort of
change
it. But I guess it's folklore, it's mythology, so it's still very much I think that's what makes it more tragic.
Yes.
Kind of makes it like a tragedy because you're just kind of like, oh, she didn't even get any recognition, and then she spends the rest of her like life in the spirit realm. So she doesn't really, nobody really, except for her family maybe. So
and also I like that Mina doesn't care. Right?
I like that Mina doesn't care, but I care for her.
Yes, of course.
I care about her. Okay, speaking of, so this book is related a lot to Studio Ghibli. Okay, do you compare these characters with any Studio Ghibli like that's what I was asked. That's what I was thinking about in the car. Like two characters in Studio Ghibli.
So this book is extremely Spirited Away. And the reason for that because Spirited Away, the child finds herself
You forgot her name?
Yes, I forgot her name. I'm sorry. I always forget everybody's names in anything.
What's the dragon's name?
I don't know.
Haku, I think
that might be wrong. But the idea that there is this young girl who kind of enters the spirit realm willingly/unwillingly, kind of. More like, like circumstantially forced to. Is it actually?
Haku!
Okay, fine, it's Haku. Which is very, very similar. And then entering a spirit realm that has these characters that she has to, find connections to, and eventually try and find her way out, because that's kind of her goal. She didn't want to be there.
In Spirited Away, though, doesn't she get isn't she like a bratty girl? And that's
she's a young girl. I don't know if it's bratty, but she's actually really kind in the Spirited Way.
Didn't she like yell at her parents? I'm this bad memory. I haven't watched that movie in years. Didn't she?
Well, her parents were being really freaking annoying, so I think they deserved it. They were eating all the spirit food and they turned into pigs. Remember that?
Yeah, no, I did remember that.
And they weren't listening to her. She was telling them not to do that.
Oh, yes.
So she's a very kind. But the idea of a person entering the spirit realm and interacting with the different characters in folklore. So this was in Korean folklore, in Spirited Ways, in Japanese folklore, and you see all these kind of name dropped or not name dropped, but like references to folklore, other stories dropped in there, which is really interesting to see. You'll see it in Spirited Away. You'll see a bunch of like named spirits, and you'll see it in this one where you see these god or goddesses that in folklore they existed.
God, we should watch Spirited Away. It's making me want to watch Spirited Away.
I remember being young, and when I was really young, I was scared of it.
No, I know. I couldn't watch it when I was a kid because it was so scary. Like No Face and all.
No Face was scary.
No Face was so scary. I was just like the. It was like what in the and the frog.
I watched it in Chinese.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so
I think I watched it in Japanese too, but with the subs. Yeah, but just do you feel like this book it wasn't really scary in that way? I think it did have some like kind of this book was very similar to Spirited Away. I was I was more talking about like which like couples, not really couples, but like friendships, I guess you would compare hers and Shin's with, because like I feel like Castle in the Sky has maybe the better comparison. Or
Castle in the Sky is an interesting one. I still think Spirited Away's friendship and interaction is good because Haku wanted to get the girl's name, I forgot her name, out of there. Didn't want her to be there.
Yeah.
But because of circumstances, then later and then they helped each other, and then they kind of supported each other when they needed to. Kind of like when Shin and Mina, when Mina went back to steal her soul, and Shin was like,
Yeah,
what are you
yeah,
doing
that's
here,
how like
right?
Haku.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
literally
So it's like that kind of dual kind of relationship. And then also Mina meeting Mask, Dai, and
it's
Miki,
all the
all the
characters.
characters, is kind of how like the girl in Spirited Away started making friends and meeting people inside of the spirit realm that later cared for her. Spider, I forgot his name.
Spider-Man,
Spider Uncle.
Spider Uncle.
Yeah, Spider Uncle with the bushy beard.
With the suit sprites.
And yeah, the suit sprites, and also the older girl that treated her like a sister. She found support in the spirit realm. Kind of like in this
we have to watch that movie.
Yes, we're talking a lot about Spirited Away.
I know. I'm kind of like feeling a little nostalgic here. Like I just want to like end this and watch the movie.
Yes.
But yeah, other than that, I don't know. For me, reading this book, I feel like, do you agree too? The first half was a little off for me. Like the first half, I wasn't really into it, and the second half, I was like completely obsessed and consumed. Like I kept wanting to go back and read it, and I just feel like it was different because I don't know, the beginning half read like a completely different story, I feel like.
So I think the beginning, it needed to
You're too tall. I feel like we're like here, come closer. I feel like we're like different.
Sorry. You're fine. It needed to flesh out the background of the story. It needed to create this scene and the circumstances and the plots. And that's kind of like folklore. They kind of just like throw you in there and describe everything because that's how it works, you know?
I know. I guess for me, I thought she would have lost her soul for the entirety of the book. So I was so confused why literally more like earlier than halfway she got her soul back, and I was like, wait, is the story done? So I didn't know where it was going. So I think that just kind of put me like, was like, oh, like what story is this then?
But I think for me, I knew the story wasn't going to end there because they needed to deal with the problem with the sea god. Sea god was being weird, right? And her getting her soul back would allow her to then do what she needed to do to communicate and to figure things out. And through finding and also looking for her soul, she was able to meet all the other characters. I feel like there's no other good way for them to actually meet on even ground,
Yeah,
because if she didn't have her soul and then she kept having to try and find her way and do what she needed to do, there was no way to insert her on even footing with any of the other characters that were already there. Like Shin only wanted to start helping her because
they got forced to,
because the red fate that connected them now.
Oh yeah, see,
right?
All these, I'm telling you, there's like 3 different plots going on here. Okay, next question is, what themes stood out to you in this book?
Themes, I think, are kindness. A big one is kindness.
Yeah.
Kindness and compassion. And also connection to ancestry.
It's a good theme. I think I would say fate is a good theme.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, that's like the biggest one. I think fate was a big theme in this one because I think a lot of our characters tried to like, there's like this thing about changing fate and like how to get out of your fate or escape it. But I think what the characters learned was they started realizing that everything was, going the right way when they started embracing it and when they started, yeah, that makes sense. I'm trying to think of what other themes though.
Another theme I think that goes with fate is there's a really good line in the book that I'm trying to remember.
Which one? Honestly though, I feel like this all I have compiled is quotes now, but I like your theme of like ancestry.
Yeah, so I can talk about that really quickly. And the quote I'm looking for is about choosing your path, which I think is later in the book.
Okay, yeah.
So ancestry, when Mina meets Mask, Dai, and Miki in the alleyway where she's hiding, and then later the connection to find that they were her ancestors and they were looking out for her, and all of the different references to how they how she remembered her ancestors and has seen them be kind of alive in front of her. It's a very, very nostalgic and also just very heartwarming kind of connection that you can think about. And also like references to how Asian cultures treat ancestry, like leaving food at the altars, leaving drinks and stuff, and seeing them be consumed by the spirits, which is really fun. And then this idea of in the spirit realm, reincarnating into whatever form you wanted to, and that's why she didn't recognize her great 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 grandparents and her family's poor dead daughter that died, right? Miki, that it wasn't very clear, and just seeing how it's like a heartwarming idea that if the spirit realm existed, that they're always watching out for you, you know?
Yeah.
And they you can actually directly interact with them with food, with prayers, with acknowledgments.
Yeah, I think connected to that, another theme was like memory, because there is the thing with the boats that was really beautiful too, where like a lot of people's, you know, wishes and dreams are remembered and it's tied to their fate somehow. But yeah, I really like, you know, that's such a common thing I think in Chinese culture too, leaving stuff at like the altar or like lighting candles for them and leaving oranges. You know, a lot of people do that.
Yeah, so this is a little story, but before, when I was a little bit younger, my dad would take us to Korea to see the gravestones of his adopted family's graves. And there's a ceremony where you take, you know, rice wine, you grab oranges, you grab a little bit of dried fish, you leave the food on top of the altars of the gravestones, you circle around it saying a prayer, and you sprinkle rice wine on the mound. There's a mound of dirt on top of the gravestone.
Oh, yeah. Do you just leave the food after? Or you
leave the food. Yeah. I don't know what exactly happens to the food afterwards, but when you pour the rice wine, it's more like you take a drink, you pour around, you take a drink. So like you drink with your ancestors. And so yeah, that's just another memory.
Yeah, you know, I don't really know where the food goes either.
What I think happens is the people who tend to the shrines, to the actual entire cemetery, they take the food.
Okay, but like my home shrines, like what happened to the food? I don't know. were they just eaten throughout the? I don't know what happens to the food, like the oranges that stay there, because they don't just rot there.
Well, probably animals or people, you know.
No, they're not inside. They're in the home.
They're in the home.
Yeah, they're just like in the house.
I think if they're rotten, you throw them out and you replace them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. I can't find the quote, but God, I remember I cried.
Yes.
At the end.
Yeah.
I think I knew I was gonna cry though. I've heard from a lot of people that it's sad, but then I kind of read the synopsis. I was like, "How is this sad?" I was like, "How is this gonna be sad?" And I think just through it's not really sad, because I think in the end it's just beautiful. It's beautiful in the way where it's like tragic.
It's tragic, like the fact that she chooses to go
leave her family.
To leave the person she loves.
Yes.
In order to save, you know,
not knowing if she can go back. Yeah.
Actually knowing that she can, or actually not. She did know that she was hoping that he would come for her in a year.
Yes, but then he didn't come in a year. Wait, have you watched Twilight?
No, I've not.
The third movie or the second, where she's waiting for Edward?
I don't.
It low-key reminded me that. I was laughing so hard.
I wouldn't get that reference. I'm sorry.
I have to show you after a meme. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. And then twice she had rejected the false sea god, because she had rejected him in kind of the beginning. And it was so sad too, when you had to realize, like, even in the beginning, she was almost about to like force herself to be with this guy like twice.
Yes.
So that was really sad.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other themes?
A sense of duty, a sense of honor.
Oh, that's a big one too.
Yeah.
For all the characters.
For every single one of them. Character. They all had their own like sense of, you know, personal a personal drive to do what they think is right and what they think they need to do.
Yes, but I wouldn't say it's a personal drive, because I think despite what they want to do, they actually don't do what they want to do. Everyone does what society tells them that they should do or whatever, because like
that's true.
Like Shim Chong, same, where she like, you know,
she didn't want to
she didn't fight her fate,
because
even though she had someone she loved, and everyone is literally fighting fate. It's literally fighting fate. Okay, did you get a new perspective from reading this book? I can go first.
Yeah, you can go first.
I think I gained I think the reason why it made me cry so much was because just this discussion of ancestry, and like seeing, you know, her great grandfather again, seeing her family, like if you just thinking about how beautiful it would be to see like people you had lost in your life, and try not to cry.
It's okay.
No, but just this idea of ancestry and like how powerful it can be to like remember the people that you have once, seen. So yeah. Did you get a new perspective?
This read like my old folk tale stories. So the whole thing sounded like the writing. It was more of like a trip down memory lane for me. So kind of like when we read Poppy Wars together and She Who Became the Sun, or any of the ones where it's like drawing from Asian stories or Asian culture. It's just really just trips down memory lane. So I don't think I gained a new perspective. It was just nice to see like, oh, I know that folktale that they're referencing, or I know that story that they're referencing.
I know.
Yeah.
You showed me that story, and
yes, that's right.
Yeah, and that's Korean, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, it was nice to. I personally didn't grow up with these stories, but I do remember when I do read a lot of Chinese folklore books, it's really nice to read the stories that you had when you were a kid, and you're like, and especially when someone is taking a folklore or mythology, because you have to imagine like a lot of Korean people who grew up with the stories, they have a really, really like a big attachment to it. So the fact that she was able to take this and turn it into like her own story, or use those stories as like, infused in the book, but it's not the same.
Yeah. So that's what I really liked about how she did it. She was able to kind of reference these and very, very eloquently put into the story. Like when Mina was asked by the sea god to tell him stories, and she wrote the stories that I grew up with, and it's just like, I remember those, and it'll be like the same as the sea god who remembers these stories just like I did. And Alyx did a really, really good job with that. And it's
kind of meta because you're reading a book and then someone reading stories. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say those old stories, you talked about how people really cling fiercely to them. I think it's also because many of those stories, they're word to mouth, or from mouth to mouth.
Wait, word to mouth.
Sorry, my bad. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Where they're spoken, basically.
Spoken,
they're told.
Yeah.
So a lot of these old Korean folktales, there's no place to really write them down. They were told from person to person, generations to generation, because Korean history is extremely bloody and rough, with oppression on many different sides from China and Japan. So yeah.
I see. That's what I'm saying. I don't read a lot. Well, actually, I have read quite a few books, just because young adult, a lot of authors like to play with folklore, and it's really beautiful. It's nice to see. But I just, when they have those chapters where like they cut to the stories, personally, I don't have the patience to read like stories, and that's why mythology. I think that's why when I was a child, I hated being read bedtime stories.
Really?
Yeah, because I just never had the patience for them. But I really think that the way the snippets that she took exactly were so good. Like how short it was and everything, because that's the thing that I don't know, personally, when I read that, it's in italics, and you see like the next 5 pages are in italics. I really
love those.
I want to like try to skip through them. I'm like, oh my god,
those.
Yeah, I know, we're just different readers. I personally don't enjoy those, just because like I'm here for like the story, not really for the folklore, but I'm learning to have a bigger appreciation for them.
It's a connection to kind of the heritage, and you don't hear or read a lot of Korean stories just because there's not as many as China or Japan, right? And they're not as spoken about. So as half Korean, it makes me happy to know that there's Korean stories that are being written.
Yeah. So. And I forgot that. Yeah,
you forgot I'm half Korean.
Yeah, and that you heard these stories because your mom literally had a book about it. Well, she collected from all like the cultures.
Yeah,
so.
But I only liked Korea, Japan, and China's
East Asian, East Asian stories, and they all kind of are a little bit similar. They draw from very similar like aspects. That's why I think this one kind of it is people like. That's why at first when people are comparing it to Studio Ghibli, I'm like, this book's Korean, but I think it's the vibes. I wouldn't say it's the stories or like the themes can be the same, but I was just very you know what I mean, right?
Yes. No,
I was very confused.
I would say it's the theme that is the same. It's the vibes are different.
Yeah,
because
the vibes were totally different. I was like,
but like you have to think about the only kind of mainstream like folklore
I know.
stories.
I 100% agree. I understand
Yeah.
that it was a marketing sell like tagline, but I don't know. I get like a little bit when people are like, because I don't want people to think it's homogenous.
Yes.
I don't want people to be like, oh my god, this is a Studio Ghibli story. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah, but it's just it's hard because
Yeah.
the only way that people can
Attract,
understand it is if you have a reference, and then the reference, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, because Studio Ghibli is amazing, but it has a Japanese reference.
Well, that's just unfortunate. That's why I try not to honestly use Studio Ghibli when I'm describing this book, just because I don't want people to think it's Japanese.
Yeah.
So it is difficult, but yes, like I was like, it has the vibes of Studio Ghibli films, and even the films too. I'm not even comparing it to the actual like folklore mythology that's based off of. So yeah, that was an interesting. I always saw that in the marketing, and I'm like, I was asking, I was like, isn't this book Korean?
Yeah, but
I was like, she's literally wearing a was it hanbok?
I actually don't know.
Yeah. Okay, do you have the same motivations as the characters? We kind of touched upon this.
Yeah, with Shin and Mina a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, but like, do I have the same motivations as Mina? Would I? Honestly, I would jump in place of my sister. 100%. But like anybody, wait, but she wasn't her sister.
That was a brother, but it's close enough.
To like someone my brother loved?
No, because all right, so she wanted to save Jun and Shinchong from being demolished by the Great Sea Snake.
Yeah.
Because they were both going to die because Jun decided to, be like, oh, I love. And so she was like, I want to save both of them because they're loved together. It's like you jumping in for Bryson, Alex, and Chris.
And Alex. I'm Alex.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, would I do that? 100%. I would jump in and take the place of my sister. I would volunteer as tribute. So I think I do have the same motivations but that's why I think her and Shin are so alike, because they're literally so selfless. But that's why in a situation where they're both like literally like want to be selfless towards each other, but the other one's like, no, I will go in your place, and be like, no.
Yeah, they're really funny like that. And Shin having to like realize that he was in love with her throughout the story, and then realize that she was, making her choices. That was really difficult for him, and I relate to that.
Wait, what?
When Shin started realizing that he was in love with her, and formally asked her to marry him, but she was like, I need to be with the dude, the sea god, to save him.
I don't think he said that.
Yeah, he did.
He wasn't that happy. No, he did propose.
No, that was the first time. The second time he did.
Oh, okay,
yeah, right.
The first time he wasn't that
First time
happy,
he was like, whatever, I hate this person. Like, why are you here?
No, he literally walked up to the place. He was like, no, this ain't happening.
Yeah.
And then the sea god woke up, and he's like, she's my bride.
Yeah.
So I like highlighted him like, whoa. he woke up, and that's the first thing he said.
Is the Wi-Fi going on a little bit?
Oh, it is? Is it?
It's just showing up on next to the live.
Oh, okay. No, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have the same motivations as any of the characters?
I like Namgi's motivations. He's just there to turn into a dragon.
He wasn't my favorite character. I'm not a fan of the characters who are kind of just there for like comedic relief and like, well, not really comedic relief. I think he did add to the book where in terms of like he was discovering more about himself, but he also realized that he loved like Mina too in like a friendship. Like he doesn't want to see her harmed and whatever.
Yeah. What I liked is that he is fighting prejudice, because all of his other Nugi brothers were evil, and they were serving the goddess of moon and memory and being, destructive and all with selfish reasons, to battle for 10,000 years to become dragons, because they're all just sea snakes, right?
Yeah.
But he wants to do it a different way. He was the only Anugi out of his entire clan to break from what they were doing, serving in battle, and choosing to go his own path, be with Shin. And I think that was really, really, it's really brave of him to do that. That's why he gets prosecuted all the time. And then also realizing that he's pursuing what he wants on his through his own way. And I really like that.
Yeah. Sorry, I have like pimples on my forehead. Okay. they hurt.
Don't touch.
I know. Okay, yeah. I feel like that is the same way. I know we talked about Shiki, but I don't know what his motivations are.
Shiki, well, the fight between Shin and Shiki is just the most funny thing.
It is the most.
It's so funny.
It's not even funny. It's bizarre.
It's so funny.
I was like, what is happening? That's what I think in terms of like the plot. I'm sorry. It was like.
There was a lot of jumping around, but like Shiki like saying, "I love this girl, I'm saving her," and Shin was like, "Can you not? I need to do my job."
Yeah.
And then they're fighting, and then Shin was like, "Okay, fine, whatever.
Fine, I get it.
Just do whatever you want, okay?"
No, like I get it. You love someone. I love someone too. It's
No,
fine.
that was only afterwards. When
Okay,
when the actual fight happened many thousand years ago, and then they fought and they fell out because they were friends. It's just like this. It's kind of like when you have a fight with your best friend, and then you're really like bitter about it for a little bit, but then when they met again,
I know that confused me because then they were okay, and I'm like, you guys were friends.
They
like,
were
this,
friends.
I know this makes no sense.
Yeah. It's just that kind of like that rivalry / like, you know, God, you're so annoying, but I know you're doing this for a real good reason, but
you're so annoying, but I love you.
Annoying. Yeah.
God, you're annoying, but I love you. Yeah.
That's why I love their
I know that was funny, but I was just like, what? I did like though. I didn't expect this. I did like how she was able to see the past brides, and actually actually see that they were doing well. Because I don't know if you remember that book Uprooted by Naomi Novik.
I remember the cover.
Do you remember like the dragon? They had to sacrifice a girl from the village to the dragon or whatever.
Oh yes.
But like I thought this was gonna be the same kind of tragic thing where like literally the brides were like dead, like they were sacrificed in order to keep the sea god happy,
and they were dead,
and they're like the blood of the bride would so. But it was really nice to see them actually happy. Chilling. They were happy.
Yeah, they were chilling. They were, they were doing work like one of the
in a beautiful like castle.
The most recent bride that was sacrificed, she became a guard. She's like a badass,
Wait, who?
Her
Hiyari.
Starts with an H. Yeah, I'm bad with names.
Isn't that the one who was married to Shiki? I think that was.
No, that was a different one.
No, I think it was
the one that was married to Shiki is the pretty one that went past in the tram. The guard of Shin was the one that helped Mina get into the castle to get to her soul.
She was a past sea guard?
Yeah, she was a past sea bride as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that. Okay. No, yeah, but I really liked seeing that because it was kind of like oh, they're doing well, they're doing okay, even though the village is stupid and being like
sacrificed. Yeah. God, humans.
God, what does it remind me of? Oh, it reminds me of something, but yeah. Yeah. What else about this book? Let's see.
It's more questions.
More questions. Okay, and I guess going into the songs, that's like the last thing though.
Okay.
Yeah, we can go into a little bit of the playlist. I guess I can share mine first. I don't have that many because I didn't want.
Because you left it till the last minute.
No, I didn't. Okay, I put Ocean Eyes by Billie Eilish.
Okay, why?
That's good, right?
No, why?
What do you mean?
Who has ocean eyes?
It's like the metaphor.
Oh, wow.
No, Shin has ocean eyes. He's the sea god.
He didn't have blue eyes.
It's a metaphor. You're not getting the metaphor.
Okay, fine.
You don't need to have blue eyes to have ocean eyes. It's like your eyes are an ocean. They're vast. See, God, you don't get metaphors. All you get is similes.
Wow. Fine.
No, I chose Ocean Eyes because I feel like it's the kind of song where she's because she's kind of like, where have you been all my life? Like looking, and you have so much, like you're so like such a beautiful person, and yeah, he ends up being.
That didn't happen in the beginning. She was like, you took my goddamn soul, give it back, and I will fight you.
No, I know, but that's in the end. That's when she realizes she loves him, and that's why she falls in love with him. But that's what she's saying. That's the whole beautiful thing. And part of it is that she gets tied with the red string of fate with him, and she doesn't realize that he's the sea god. So it's like ocean eyes. Like she didn't open her eyes to be like the sea bride gets a fate to the sea god.
It's a stretch, but I'll give it to you.
You're the stretch.
Okay.
Okay, your song.
All right, I'll do one of mine. So I'll do two of mine because I put 2 Studio Ghibli songs from Spirited Away. I took the Sixth Station. That's a cop out. No, the Sixth Station, and then the Procession of the Spirits.
Procession.
My bad. So the Sixth Station, musically, it's one of my
pimples.
Stop.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Musically, the Sixth Station is one of my favorite Studio Ghibli, Joe Hisaishi songs in general. And
wait, where is it from?
Spirited Away.
It's Hisaishi, not Hisashi.
Hisaishi, sorry. Joe Hisaishi, my bad. Shut up. And if it really captures wistfulness in the music,
Ooh.
so I really liked. I wanted to get that feeling through the music in that way, and also because it's a wonderful song.
Is it from a movie?
It's from Spirited Away.
Oh, from Spirited. Is the other one the Procession of?
Yeah, Procession of the Spirits. So that I equate in the book to when to two scenes. When she kind of is freaking out with no voice and trying to find her way to get some help, and when she went into the city, and when she meets Mask, Dai, and Mickey, she sees all these other spirits in there, and she's just like, what am I doing here? And that's kind of the procession of the spirits in Spirited Away, kind of that same feeling, that same kind of stress and also wonder at this new world that she finds herself in. And the other one, the other part scene that I'm thinking about in the book is when they're all celebrating when the storms went away after she, I believe she told the story to the sea god and calmed him down from having the storms. So, and they were all celebrating. That's what the song does.
Did you Oh, they're both from Spirited Away. Is that the Procession of the Spirits? Is that when they're in the bathhouse?
That's when.
Is that even in the movie?
Yes, these are all in the movie. So, Procession of the Spirits, I believe, scene-wise, is when the spirits are coming in to this realm. They're like on vacation in Spirited Away.
Oh, yes.
And she's just like seeing all these spirits and like what is happening and freaking that out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next song I have is Moonlight. So you don't know any of my songs.
You don't know any of my you do know all my songs.
I do. Well, Moonlight, it's a song by Grace Vanderwall. She has a very raspy voice, but I think the tone is, I think this song just talks so much. The moon was honestly such a big, it was very symbolic in this. And I think it talked about like, but this is like a kind of like a love song. So it's like she is like admiring like this person. So I feel like that's how I feel like I'm speaking as if I'm like Mina. So these are all like love songs.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like you wouldn't think to like put love songs.
I put 3 love songs.
I mean, they're kind of love songs.
If the world was ending.
I don't think Bumper Cars is a love song.
Bumper Cars is a love song.
Bumper Cars are supposed to like bump away from each other.
Do you not listen to the song at all? Do you not?
I don't listen to the lyrics of the song that much.
Yes, you do. You memorize lyrics all the time.
I memorize them, but I don't really listen to them.
So Bumper Cars, I'll talk about that one then. Fine. Okay. The song is about how they try and get close to each other, but then they always crash apart, like Bumper Cars.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, it's a great story in the song.
That doesn't make sense though.
Why?
Because they're faded. They're faded together. Yes,
but they're faded together, so they keep like trying to reach each other, but then they crash apart because things don't go right. Like she doesn't. When they were tied together, they hated each other, right? And then as they start to grow attraction to each other, she then has to make the horrible decision of saving the rest of the world.
Okay,
right?
That's a good song.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So
how did you even remember that one? That was
I just am good.
2016. Is this Yoshigehara? Is that yours too? Is that yours too?
No, that's yours.
No, it's not.
You added that. See?
Oh, I did.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, because it's
Can we see some effort, please? My goodness.
No, I'm not, because I don't know. It looks like your song. Okay, that one is from my Japanese lo-fi beats. I know this, again, is not Japanese, but it's the vibe of it. No, because I was reading a lot of this book with lo-fi music because it kind of soothed me. And I feel like this one has the vibes of the Spirited Away song choices that you chose, because it actually does start with like a slow piano, and then a little bit of like rain. So I think that definitely evokes like the mood of this book. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good one. I'll go with my last one. I think I liked If the World Was Ending because well, we know the story of the song is basically just like the song, the world is ending in the song, and they're talking about last moments, the last thoughts about the person that they care about, right? So yeah, it's really, really sad, and I think it relates to the book really well because it's just like she at the very last moment has to make the decision to let go of her love in order to save save reality, basically.
Honestly, I think Let Her Go is a better choice by The Passenger. Actually, I don't think it's talking about the same thing though. It's
no, Let Her Go for me was it was a very cringy song from my youth, so I almost didn't want to put it in there. But I think it fits the book also very, very well.
Yeah. So overall, you like this book?
I do. I really do enjoy this book.
Yeah. I think this is definitely a book where I think I would have enjoyed it if I was younger.
It is slightly more young adult slash middle
Yeah,
grade. She's 16 in
I
the
know
book.
she's 16 and she's
So
like I think discovering her first love.
yeah,
And reading about that, but I don't think I would have gotten the story as much if I was
younger.
older. I mean, if I was younger, yeah.
I think you would need a little bit more context. Yeah.
Or more of like the like selflessness, because I feel like when I'm a kid, I'm
You
just kind
probably
of
like, why would she do that?
what, yeah, and it'd be
Mhm.
all that. But I feel like now as an adult, I'm kind of like, okay, and like the thing with ancestry too, I feel like when you're a lot younger, you don't really know what it means to like, not necessarily
To understand
not,
your ancestry.
yeah, or be in tune with it that
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to talk about the book?
Whoever does the covers, every single cover I've seen has been
I think.
gorgeous.
What do you mean every single cover?
Because there's been different kinds of covers, different
Oh,
covers,
I
right?
want those copies. So okay, let's look at like. Now that I'm looking back at the
You see the
cover,
guy?
no, is
Yeah,
that
I didn't
Shin?
notice the
Is that
guy.
Shin?
That's Shin. I didn't notice him before, but he's actually in there.
See, this is why I love looking at covers. Why am I looking at yours? Let me look at mine.
Mine's prettier than yours.
Mine's a digital copy. I can zoom in on it.
But absolutely, just the illustrator, wonderful job for every
See?
single one of the different copies.
This is so much better.
Yeah.
Wait, what's that bird?
That's the magpie.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. When I didn't know that magpie was a bird. I didn't even know that. No, I didn't know it was a type of bird. No, so they literally kept saying magpie, and that's why I think I was confused in the beginning of the book.
Goodness.
No, because I was thinking of pie.
My goodness.
It's spelled like pie.
It's a magpie. It's a bird.
Okay, I had to look that up, but they were saying it, and I was just so confused. So, is it like a Korean bird or is it like
it's a extremely intelligent blackbird. They're known for stealing shiny things, so don't leave.
Oh, look, the fish.
I know.
Yeah.
They're known for stealing shiny things or being attracted to shiny things, and they are auspicious in a lot of different cultures.
Ooh, that's interesting. The bird doesn't really represent her then.
No. Yeah, the bird metaphor was kind of strange, but I think it relates to intelligence and fierceness. Magpies are known to be extremely territorial and very good memory, where they will fight if they see who the person. They're kind of like crows in that regard.
But that doesn't sound like Mina.
She's feisty.
She's feisty, but you could have chosen a lot of other birds. You could choose a penguin.
Don't know about that one.
A big ass penguin in the cage.
Where we're gonna run out of battery.
Oh, we are. We're pretty much wrapping up anyway, though.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah. But anything else?
Definitely recommend this book.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely read this book if you have a chance.
It's very beautiful.
In February, we are reading such a long title.
My
highly suspicious and
unfairly cute.
Good job.
Of course, because I picked the book.
Okay, good job. By Talia Hibbert, which is very exciting. I've actually started reading already.
Yes,
I've been in such a romance kick. I'm in a romance genre kick.
It is February coming up, so my birthday and also Valentine's Day.
Yeah, true. So we are excited to read that book. So join us sometime in March, in the beginning, probably the first week of March, to talk about that book. And then in March, we also have a fun book, which is a Vietnamese horror book. Yes. I'm so excited for that book.
I am, yeah.
Why?
A little bit. If it's Asian horrors, no joke.
It's like scary.
It's really scary.
Well, that's good. We want it to be actually scary. Then that's the worst. We have a non.
Have you ever seen like Asian horror movies?
Oh, I don't watch those for a reason.
They are just nightmare fuel. So scary.
I don't watch those for a reason. But thank you so much for joining. And I hope if you're watching this after, the live, then click all the links in the description. You'll find the link to our Instagram. You'll also find the Spotify link with all of the, playlists that we made for the books. And yeah, join us in the next few months. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.